Hello, sports fans, and happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to the Thanksgiving Day edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trella. It's week 12 of the NFL, and we've got Turkey Day football for you today. We got not one, not two, but three games, so we got triple football for you today. We'll get to all three games in just a moment, but first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 Turkey Day trivia question. And it's a Detroit Lions one. Who wore jersey number 20 during the 1996 season? Or 1986 season, you can say. And I will have the answer to that question later in the 1996 season. I'll have the answer later on the podcast. In the early game right now, the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions are battling it out at Ford Field in Detroit. It's now 13-7 at halftime, and Chicago leads 13-7, I should say. The Bears are coming off a 16-13 loss at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens last week at home at Soldier Field. The Bears had a chance to win this one last week against the Ravens, and they were not able to get over that hurdle because the Ravens managed to get the ball back thanks to a Bears turnover on downs. Now the Bears are looking to bounce back from last week's loss to the Ravens with a Turkey Day win over the Lions. Andy Dalton will start in place of the injured Justin Fields, and expect the Bears offense and defense to really put pressure on the Lions' offense and defense and defensive front line. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions are coming off a 13-10 loss at the hands of the Cleveland Browns last week. Now, the Lions are still hungry to get their first win of the season, and they are so very hungry to get it. And keep in mind, the Lions are the only winless team right now in the NFL. Lions QB Jared Goff is planning to start today's game against the Bears. Expect the Lions to have a really big game and really give the Bears a run for their money and really keep the pressure on the Bears' offensive line, their front line, and the defensive front line, and the Bears' running game as well. Keep that in mind. In the late afternoon game, which will be at 4:30, the Dallas Cowboys will take on the LA Raiders at AT&T Stadium in Big D. This is going to be one of those games. I think it's going to be close, but I think Dallas will come away with the win. So, and it's going to be in Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium. And the Dallas Cowboys and the LA Raiders have one victory between them in November and one more chance to do something about it before the playoff push time, also known as December. It just so happens they are playing each other on Thanksgiving, so forget about Dallas receiver Amari Cooper playing his former team for the first time Thursday because he tested positive for COVID. A positive COVID test, and his vaccination status took care of that. And interim coach Rich Bisaccia probably won't spend much time thinking about his return to the place he left to join the Raiders 3 years ago. The NFC East leading Cowboys, who are 7-3, want to bounce back at home coming off a poor offensive showing just as they did a week ago and a half week ago against Atlanta. The Raiders, who are 5-5, need to end their 3-game losing streak, and that cost them first place in the AFC West. And as you know, losing streaks in the NFL are not allowed. I don't know the right wording for it, but there's definitely feeling of enough is enough. We've got to win, Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Derek Carr said. it's a big game because it's the next game. But what an opportunity for us to get back on track on the road in a hostile environment against a really good football team. Dallas fell behind by 30 against double-digit underdog Denver in a 30-16 loss before routing the Falcons 43-3. And now the Cowboys are coming off a 13-9 loss at the hands of the Kansas City Chiefs last week, which the NFL's number one offense, with subpar showings from quarterback Dak Prescott. The running game did not score a touchdown. The expected return of left tackle Tyron Smith, who missed 3 games with an ankle injury, could be the boost the Cowboys need. As we need as we head into the latter part of the season, we've got to start getting this thing back rolling. And said running back Ezekiel Elliott, who took another shot against the Chiefs to a right knee that has been bothering him for weeks. It's time we start ferning on all cylinders. Third down runs. The common theme in the Raiders' losing streak has been poor play on third down on both sides of the ball over the past 3 weeks. The Las Vegas ranks last in the NFL with 21.4% third down conversion rate on offense and 31st on defense, allowing 53.5. The Raiders had 14 straight unsuccessful third downs on offense the past 2 games, between converting their first try against Kansas City and their last against Cincinnati. I put it all on me. I got to do better, said Carr, whose team was outscored 73-27 in the losses to the Chiefs and the Bengals. If I am better, we are all better. That way we're not down multiple scores late in games. Now, missing Cooper, acquired from the Raiders for a first-round pick mid-season in 2018, is Dallas' most reliable receiver, but now will miss a second consecutive game because of NFL protocols require unvaccinated players to be sidelined at least 10 days. Owner and general manager Jerry Jones, while calling Cooper one of the highest character guys you will ever be around, wasn't pleased about it. It said early, Jones said on his radio show this week, "You check me at the door and a football team that has nothing to do with the issues of masking, not masking, getting vaccinated, not getting vaccinated. The facts are, it is we thing when you think when you walk into a locker room, and anybody is being counted on to pull his weight." Basada Homecoming, who took over when John Gruden resigned after old emails with racist, majestic, and homophobic comments surfaced, and had his second longest NFL tenure with the Cowboys from 2013 to 2017. He led special teams as well. Basada's longest stint was 9 seasons with Tampa Bay, 2002 to 2010. Well, remembering Marcus Paul, Thanksgiving week was difficult for the Cowboys a year ago. Strength and conditioning coach Marcus Paul collapsed in the weight room and died at a hospital a day later, about 24 hours before the Cowboys lost to Washington 41-16. Coach Mike McCarthy led a discussion of Paul in a team meeting on Tuesday. From my perspective, we want to make sure his legacy carries on. It's important to all of us, McCarthy said. We have 84 players in the locker room, and 40 of the players were not here last year. Clearly, I was talking more to the new players just to understand who he was and what he's meant to us. Flag Day. After committing 14 false starts the first time for the first 9 games, Las Vegas was clean on offense against the Bengals, with only a penalty that unit coming when Josh Jacobs was flagged for unnecessary roughness and an interception, but the defense had 3 key penalties that helped extend their drives that led scores for the Bengals, including 1 lining up in the neutral zone and 2 personal fouls. It was concentration penalties, and it was alignment penalties. Apparently, it was just a cornucopia of penalties. Besada said, "We just didn't do a very good job." And so, but expect that both of these teams want to bounce back, and I do feel that Dallas will come away with a win in this game today. We'll talk about this evening's game in just a moment. But first, it's time right now to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Turkey Day trivia question, which is a Detroit Lions trivia question. Who wore jersey number 20 during the 1996 season? And if you said Barry Sanders, you are correct. Barry was drafted 3rd overall by the Lions in the 1989 NFL Draft. Some of his career highlights included 15,269 career rushing yards, 100 or more rushing yards in 76 games, and 18,190 career yards from scrimmage, and a 2004 NFL Hall of Fame induction. I will have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. And tonight's game at 8:20, the Thursday night football game for Turkey Day, will be the Buffalo Bills will take on the New Orleans Saints at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. And I just feel, I have this hunch Buffalo is going to get the win on the road because they're wanting to snap their losing skid, the Buffalo Bills. And they were not happy with these last 2 losses. And I just feel they are going to want to get the win in this game tonight. And very little has come easy for the New Orleans Saints this season, particularly in the Superdome, where they have lost twice after leading in the final minute of regulation. Despite that 3-game slide, they're currently on the Saints 5-5, are in thick of the NFL playoff picture heading into Thanksgiving night home date with the Buffalo Bills, who are 6-4, who have had their own stumbles lately, losing is tough, said Saints offensive lineman James Hurst, who has been thirsting to starting roles at both tackle and guard for an injury played New Orleans Saints this offseason. It's easy to make excuses, but the type of guys we have in our locker room are looking to make excuses. Everyone is looking to do their job and trying to understand what they can do better. Hurst added, everyone is really accountable for that, and I think that's all you can really ask for. Whether saying and doing the right things make up for missing talents is another matter for New Orleans' top offensive player, Alvin Kamara, who hurt his knee during a 2-point loss to Atlanta 3 weeks ago and will miss his 3rd straight game. Saints starting right tackle Ryan Ramczyk, who has a knee injury, will miss his 2nd straight game. And defensive end Marcus Davenport, who has a shoulder injury, the club's sack leader, is also out for this week's game. Now, veteran Mark Ingram has been New Orleans' primary running back in Kamara's absence, but he's now showing up on the injury report with an ailing knee and is questionable. But expect the Saints to really have a big game, and also expect the Bills to really keep the pressure on the Saints' offensive line and defensive line. And I do feel that Buffalo is going to come away with the win in this game. I am taking Chicago to win in this early game, and I am also taking Dallas to win tonight's game and Buffalo to win the late afternoon game, and Buffalo to win tonight's game. And I will give you my brother-in-law's picks on the Turkey Day early late game post game show which will come up after these games are done. And happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with your family. Always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. And I'll be back with the post-game show later on. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.